Family sits at the head table. My sister-in-law Clarissa smiled with practiced condescension, her hand gesturing toward the back of the ballroom. You can join the catering staff in the service area. I'm sure you'll find the company more suitable. My 12-year-old daughter Sophia squeezed my hand so hard I thought she might leave bruises, her eyes filling with tears of outrage on my behalf. What Clarissa didn't know, what she'd never bothered to discover in 7 years of marriage to my brother, was that the stunning burgundy gown she was wearing, the one she'd been bragging about for months, the one that had cost her $47,000 and a 6-month waiting list, had been designed by the woman she'd just banished to eat with the caterers. I was Elena Vasquez, and Clarissa had no idea. The Whitmore Foundation Gala was the social event of the Boston season. 500 guests, black tie, silent auction, and enough old money to fund a small country. Clarissa had been planning it for 18 months, determined to establish herself as the city's premier philanthropic hostess. My brother Marcus had funded everything, of course. His tech company had made him obscenely wealthy, and Clarissa had made spending that wealth her full-time occupation. I'd been invited out of obligation. Marcus and I had been close once, before Clarissa had systematically isolated him from anyone who remembered who he was before the money. She tolerated my presence at major family events because excluding me entirely would create awkward questions. But she made sure I knew my place. Clarissa, Marcus said, appearing at her elbow, Elena is family. She should sit with us. The head table only seats 12. We discussed this. Your sister understands. She looked at me with that smile, the one that dared me to make a scene, confident I wouldn't. It's fine, I said quietly. Sophia and I will find somewhere. Mom, Sophia started. It's fine, sweetheart. I guided my daughter away from the head table, away from my brother's apologetic expression, away from Clarissa's satisfied smirk. We found seats near the service entrance, sharing a table with the event photographer's assistant and 2 people who appeared to be someone's personal drivers. This isn't fair, Sophia whispered fiercely. She's so mean to you. And Uncle Marcus just lets her. Your uncle is in a difficult position. He's rich. How is that difficult? Money doesn't solve everything, baby. Sometimes it just creates new problems. She's wearing a really pretty dress, Sophia observed, watching Clarissa make her rounds. I heard her telling someone it cost $50,000. $47,000. How do you know? I smiled but didn't answer. The gala proceeded with the usual rituals, cocktails, networking, a parade of designer gowns and borrowed jewelry. Clarissa floated through the crowd like a queen greeting her subjects, accepting compliments on her dress with practiced humility. It's an Elena Vasquez original, I heard her tell someone. She's the most exclusive designer in the country. 6-month waiting list minimum. I had to pull quite a few strings. She'd pulled no strings. She'd walked into my atelier in New York, treated my staff like servants, demanded special treatment, and paid full price like everyone else. She'd never once looked at the photographs on my office wall, the ones showing me with my designs at my shows accepting my CFDA award. She'd been too busy examining herself in the mirror. My fashion house, Vasquez Atelier, had grown from a small studio in Queens to a $40 million company with clients including actresses, politicians, and royalty. I'd kept my personal life separate from my brand by design, using my maiden name professionally, avoiding social media, letting the clothes speak rather than my face. In an age of celebrity designers, I was deliberately invisible. Most people in the fashion industry knew what I looked like. Most people at society galas did not, including my sister-in-law. The moment I'd been expecting arrived around 9 p.m. Miranda Chun, fashion reporter for Vogue, had been circling the room all evening. I'd worked with her on several profiles and considered her a friend. When she spotted me at the back table, her face lit up with surprise and delight. She made her way toward Clarissa first, professional obligation. I watched from across the room as she complimented the gown, asked the designer question, received the smug response. Elena Vasquez. She's simply the best. Very exclusive. You really have to know people to get on her list. Miranda's expression flickered, just barely, before settling into professional neutrality. What a coincidence, she said. I just noticed Elena across the room. Shall I introduce you? Clarissa laughed. Elena Vasquez doesn't attend charity galas in Boston. She's based in New York. Very private. I assure you she's here. I've interviewed her several times. Miranda turned and pointed. Right there. The woman in the emerald dress. I gave a small wave. Clarissa's face underwent a remarkable transformation. Confusion, disbelief, then a dawning horror that spread from her eyes to her carefully Botoxed forehead. Miranda was already crossing the room toward me, photographer in tow. Ms. Vasquez, what an honor to see you here. I had no idea you had Boston connections. My brother lives here. I stood and embraced her. It's lovely to see you, Miranda. May we get a photo of you with your creation? She gestured toward Clarissa, who hadn't moved from her spot across the ballroom. Mrs. Whitmore is wearing one of your most stunning pieces. I'm sure our readers would love a designer and client shot. I'd be delighted. We walked together toward Clarissa, who had turned an interesting shade of gray. Around us, guests were beginning to notice the commotion. Whispers spread through the crowd. Elena Vasquez, the designer? Here, sitting in the back? Why would? Mrs. Whitmore, Miranda said brightly. I'm sure you're thrilled to meet the genius behind your gown. What a fortuitous coincidence that she's family. Clarissa's mouth opened and closed. No sound emerged. Hello, Clarissa, I said pleasantly. You look beautiful tonight. The burgundy suits your coloring perfectly. That's why I suggested it when you came to my studio. Your studio? Vasquez Atelier. In New York. You spent 3 hours there in March. You complained about the temperature, the coffee, and the consultation fee. I smiled. I remember all my clients. The photographer was snapping away, capturing every moment of Clarissa's unraveling composure. I didn't recognize. No, you didn't. You never looked at me. You never asked my name. You spoke to my assistants like they were beneath you and demanded the best table for your gown fitting. I kept my voice light, conversational. But that's all right. Many clients don't realize the woman measuring their inseam is also the creative director. I prefer it that way. Marcus appeared, his expression a mixture of confusion and concern. Elena, what's going on? Your wife is just learning that she's been wearing my design all evening. The dress she used to demonstrate her superiority over me, the one she told everyone cost $47,000, was created in my studio by my hands. Your studio? Marcus looked at Clarissa, then back at me. You're Elena Vasquez? I've been Elena Vasquez for 20 years. I told you when I started the company. I've sent you announcements for every show, every award, every milestone. I never opened. He trailed off, realization dawning. Clarissa handles the mail. Does she? We both looked at Clarissa, who was trembling now, whether from rage or humiliation I couldn't tell. You knew, she spat. You knew who you were when you came to my fitting. You let me treat you like. Like what? Like a servant? Like someone beneath your notice. I kept my voice steady. I let you show me who you were. You did that all on your own. This is humiliating. You planned this. I planned nothing. I designed you a beautiful dress. I charged you full price. I attended my brother's gala as a guest. You're the one who seated me with the caterers. You're the one who made sure everyone knew how exclusive your designer was. I was happy to stay quiet and enjoy my evening. You couldn't resist performing. Miranda had stepped back, but the photographer was still capturing everything. This would be all over fashion media by morning. Clarissa Whitmore, social climber extraordinaire, had publicly humiliated the designer she was wearing. Mrs. Whitmore, Miranda said carefully, would you like to make a statement for the article? Article? About the situation. Being seated apart from the designer of your gown. Your comments about pulling strings to get on her list when she's your own sister-in-law. Our readers will be very interested. You can't print that. It's all on the record. Miranda smiled. But I'm sure Elena will be gracious about it. She always is. Clarissa turned to me with something like desperation. Elena, this is all a misunderstanding. I didn't recognize you. If I'd known. If you'd known, you'd have treated me differently. That's the point. You shouldn't need to know someone is important to treat them with basic respect. I turned to my daughter, who had been watching everything with wide eyes. Sophia, sweetheart, this is Miranda Chin. She's a wonderful journalist and a friend. Miranda, this is my daughter, who has been asking about fashion school. A future designer? Miranda shook Sophia's hand. You have excellent genes. Mom designed that dress? Sophia asked, pointing at Clarissa. The one Aunt Clarissa has been bragging about? I designed it. So when she said you weren't good enough to sit with family, she was literally wearing your clothes? Correct. Sophia started laughing. The delighted, uncontrollable laughter of a child witnessing cosmic justice. That's the funniest thing ever. Even Miranda cracked a smile. Clarissa fled to the bathroom, trailing whispers and stares. Marcus found me by the bar half an hour later. I owe you an apology. You owe me about 7 years of apologies. I know. He ran a hand through his hair, a gesture from childhood when he was overwhelmed. I let her isolate me. I let her control who we saw, who we talked to. I told myself it was easier than fighting. It was easier. For you. Not for me. I didn't know about the mail. The announcements, the invitations, she must have thrown everything away. She did. I figured it out eventually. I stopped sending them. Why didn't you tell me? About the company, the success. I tried. You were always busy. Clarissa always had plans. After a while, I realized you had chosen your side. I sighed. I didn't come here to expose her, Marcus. I came because you're my brother and I love you. I was willing to sit in the back and make the best of it. She couldn't leave it alone. She had to make sure everyone knew I was less than her. And now everyone knows she's been wearing your design while treating you like garbage. Now everyone knows. He was quiet for a moment. Is it true? $40 million company. Give or take. Clients including royalty? 3 princesses and a duchess. I made Kate's dress for a private event last year. Kate. Middleton. We don't discuss clients publicly. Marcus laughed, a sound I hadn't heard in years. My little sister dresses royalty, and I had no idea. You could have known. All you had to do was look. I'm looking now. Are you? I want to be. I know I've been a terrible brother. I know I let her come between us. But I'd like to try again. If you'll let me. I thought about it. The years of dismissal. The holidays where I was treated as an afterthought. The family events where Clarissa ensured I felt unwelcome. Then I thought about the brother who taught me to ride a bike. Who helped me apply to design school. Who told me I could be anything I wanted. Back before money and Clarissa had changed him. I'll let you try. But Marcus? It has to be real change. Not just tonight because you're embarrassed. Actual, sustained effort to be present. I understand. And Clarissa needs to understand something too. What? I don't care if she likes me. I don't need her approval. But if she ever disrespects my daughter again, I'll make sure every fashion editor in America knows exactly what kind of person wears my designs to charity galas. Her social climbing will come to a very abrupt end. That's fair. It's not a threat. It's a boundary. I understand the difference. Sophia appeared at my elbow, holding 2 plates of dessert. The caterers gave me extra. They said anyone who's family to Elena Vasquez gets VIP treatment. She grinned. Also, Aunt Clarissa locked herself in the bathroom and won't come out. That seems like her problem. Can we go home? This party is boring except for the drama. I laughed and took the dessert plate. Yes, sweetheart. We can go. As we walked toward the exit, I caught glimpses of Clarissa's dress throughout the room. The burgundy silk I'd designed, the embroidery I'd supervised, the silhouette I'd perfected. Beautiful work, regardless of who wore it. She'd wanted the best. She'd gotten the best. She just hadn't realized the best was standing in front of her the whole time. Some people need labels to recognize value. Some people only see worth when it's spelled out in designer tags and price points. I'd spent 20 years building something real. Skill, artistry, a company that employed 40 people and dressed women who wanted to feel powerful. Clarissa had spent 7 years trying to make me feel small. Tonight, the truth had come out. And the dress I'd designed had never looked more beautiful than in that moment of revelation.